Okay, so let's talk about the Southern Strategy. What is it? Well, the Southern Strategy was concocted by Republicans in the 1960s and 70s as a means to gain more votes than the Democrats. Their strategy was to reorganize the Republican Party from the top down to make them more appealing to racist white voters in the South by passing racist legislation against blacks and using anti-black rhetoric in their speeches. Now, most people think Kevin Phillips was the one who coined the phrase Southern Strategy, but he didn't. He just made it popular. He said, from now on, the Republicans are never going to get more than 10 to 20% of the Negro vote, and they don't need any more than that. But Republicans would be short-sighted if they weakened enforcement of voting rights acts. The more Negroes who register as Democrats in the South, the sooner the Negrophobe whites will quit the Democrats and become Republicans. That's where the votes are. Without that prodding from the blacks, the whites will backslide into their old comfortable arrangement with the local Democrats. In 1964, this guy, Barry Goldwater, ran for president on a political platform that was so racist and so wild that it made Donald Trump look mild by comparison. This is what that election looked like the first time they used the Southern Strategy. In 1968, Richard Nixon used the Southern Strategy and won the presidential election of that year. George Wallace, who lost against Richard Nixon, ran on a political platform of just pure racism, saying this: By 1972, the Southern Strategy was in full swing, proving that whites loved that good old American racism, gaining Richard Nixon the presidency in that year. So what does the Southern Strategy, or being attractive to racists, look like in practice? I'll let Republican strategist Lee Atwater explain.
Here's how I would approach that issue as a statistician or a political scientist, or no, as a psychologist, which I'm not, is how abstract you handle the race thing. In other words, you start out, and now y'all aren't quoting me on this. You start out in 1954 by saying nigger, nigger, nigger. By 1968, you can't say nigger. That hurts your backfire. So you say stuff like forced busing, states' rights, and all that stuff. And you're getting so abstract now. You're talking about cutting taxes, and all of these things you're talking about are totally economic things, and the byproduct of them is blacks get hurt worse than whites. And subconsciously, maybe that is part of it. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that if it is getting that abstract and that coded, that we're doing away with the racial problem one way or the other. You follow me? Because obviously sitting around saying we want to cut taxes, we want to cut this, and we want is much more abstract than even the busing thing. And a hell of a lot more abstract than nigger nigger, you know. So any way you look at it, race is coming on the back burner.